Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Jared Sebesta of Taatjes Financial Group, where we build purposeful retirement plans. At Taatjes Financial Group, we believe retirement planning is so much more than just preparing financially. Our goal is to help retirees and pre-retirees steward their time, talent, and treasure. We have the tools and proven process to make sure your retirement plan delivers the greatest purpose, impact, and legacy. If you need help building a purposeful retirement plan specific for your life and your retirement, please give us a call. Our number is 222-4236. You can request a meeting online at taatjesfinancial.com. And if you live in West Central Minnesota, you live in the Willmar area, just stop by our office. We are located on 19th Avenue Southwest in Willmar, building purposeful retirement plans. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We are getting close to the end of the year, and we are talking about end of the year planning and also how to look ahead to next year. Ben Taatjes joins me on the show now, and I said this last week on the show, with this freakishly warm weather, it doesn't feel like the end of the year. It's kind of snuck up on us, but Christmas already a week away, and of course the new year just around the corner. How's that feel?
I'm disappointed, Jared. You know, I'm an ice fisherman. I need more ice, and I need some snow. So I'm not making any friends today. But let's just say it, because I'm ready to ice fish. But no, it is nice. In fact, I was visiting with my brother today, and he had mentioned, last year on this date, I was actually pulling like 4 people out of the ditch with his tractor around this exact date. So if you remember last year at this time, it was one of those horrendous snowstorms. So I will take safe travel to and from work, and I will take milder weather if it means no snowmobiling and ice fishing.
Well, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm enjoying this. I know it's very controversial to have opinions on mild winters around here in this part of the country, but yeah, I'm with you. I enjoy winter in some aspects, but I'm not complaining with the mild weather we've had lately. But again, we're coming up to the end of the year. It's come up quickly. There's been some news on interest rates. Let's talk about this, some of the news that's come out, but also what that means for people flying into 2024.
Well, Jerry, I think, you and I were talking at the beginning of the show and kind of reviewing, what Fed Chair Powell had said and this kind of anticipated pivot he made in this last of the 2-day December meeting here, where it indicated almost like rates were going to be dropping next year. It kind of was a complete change from what was said in the November meeting. And of course, the market loved that, right? Mm-hmm. So we look at the move in 2022 and how rates went up really rapidly. Now it's like, maybe we've hit that spot, right? And that was kind of the indication from the Fed. Now, of course, they're taking a lot of data into consideration there. Most of all that data is backward looking. So neither they nor we, of course, know what the future holds. But I think the markets definitely liked that, and that's what we saw. And you and I were talking about how do we make this applicable for the listener today? Mm-hmm. How do you make it so it's not just boring investment or financial speak? And I think the best way we can do that, Jared, is tie it back to the way you open every show. It's like, if you want a plan personalized to your life in your situation, then we need to talk. Yeah. And whether or not interest rates are high or they're low or the market's doing well or not, ultimately our jobs are to help people figure out how their money ties to their life, help them steward what they've been given, so that they come into this season of retirement and really enjoy it. And I'll tell you a quick story. Last week, or it's been a couple weeks now, I got to go and travel and see a new client. And down out of state, I had to get on a plane and fly out. And my sole purpose was signing forms. We had to sign some paperwork. And my wife had asked me, she said, you're doing all this travel. Don't you guys have like DocuSign these days? And I'm like, well, yeah, we have the ability to electronic signature. Right. But in this particular case, it was very important to me to sit down face-to-face with this client and sign the forms. Oh. And part of the reason was I needed to get to know his story, his life, right? So many times in the financial world, we end up putting together financial plans and spreadsheets and going through people's portfolios and tax planning and all the stuff that we do. And for me, and I think the other advisor on our team would agree with this, it isn't fun until you know the family that you're helping, until you're sitting down with them and seeing how they've created the wealth that they have. And then you're tasked really with partnering with them to help them steward what they've been given. Yeah. And that's what I told my wife. I said, yeah, we could do this electronically, but I'm going to get on the plane. I'm going to fly down. I'm going to see this new client. We're going to sign the forms together. and I was there in their home, and we signed everything over and made the transition. And what was important to me is we got to go around their business. We got to see the work that they're doing. I got to meet the family. I got to visit with the next generation of kids that'll get the wealth someday. And now the fun stuff, right? Now I've been able to tie the financial plan to the person. And so many of our meetings here in our office end up being relationship building because we want to understand the people that we're working with.
Yeah, I think that goes back to our whole mantra of building purposeful retirement plans, that the life side, the relational side to that is such an important piece to us. Our hope, and I'm speaking on behalf of the entire company, our hope is that when people become clients, it's not just something that happens, for 6 months or a year, that, that relationship extends years and even decades like they have before. Again, to put it in perspective, because we're kind of talking about two different things. We're talking about relationships, long-term, relational and wealth building versus this news that comes and goes. How do you, this isn't not important, but how do you put it, how do you rank it? You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like in your mind, how important is these different news articles that come out? They shouldn't be ignored, but yet you don't just bet everything on a piece of news coming out either.
Well, you understand that there will be something new. I mean, every plan we've done, Jared, has always been wrong. The truth of it is we cannot tell the future. So I do not know what challenges are going to come next year. I hope they work just the way we think they will. We hope tax rates are going to do what we think they're going to do. We don't know. Right. So the probability that we will get something not perfectly right is very high because we don't tell the future. Now, making sure that each and every one of those calculated risks that we take, each and every one of those tools, techniques we use to help somebody save taxes and to do the things we do, hopefully they all add together to make their lives better, right? And hopefully, I can't say, is it the relationship or is it the actual work we're doing? What's more important? I think they're both important. The relationship allows us to know what's most important to the client. The relationship allows us to know, what's the most important thing to their family. How do we best help them steward it? What's the most important thing to them, not us, right? There's people that I don't align with on everything that they do with their money, and that's okay. It's your money, your goals. We have to give you the tools, techniques to make sure that we carry out those wishes. So sometimes it does get into the minutia of the Fed and what they're doing with rates or what we think they're going to do. Sometimes it gets into with capital allocation, what we think next year should look like. But each and every one of those decisions is made based on that client's needs and wants, right? And we have to ask the right questions, get to know them and their family in order to do a good job.
It feels like that is very liberating because as an investor, as a client, it feels like you are empowered. You have the ability to make decisions that are best for you. Not to say that there isn't external forces out there that can affect you, but you're the one kind of like calling the shots, so to speak. That's why the relationship is so important, where you basically interview people to say, hey, how much risk do you want to take? What do you want to do? What's your like? Well, to me, that feels like a very empowering stance rather than just kind of watching the news and being in a constantly, reactive state.
Well, for sure, Jared. And the other thing that should be empowering for clients is realize that we've seen almost everything, right? I mean, you look at the last 20 years, Jared, I've been in business. I mean, there has been so many market cycles and so many different things that have happened. Yeah. And we will see many, many more over the next 20 years, Lord willing. I don't know how long I'm in this business, but that's the thing that I see is like, I feel like more and more I'm in the wisdom business. Like I'm in the business that helps you, that comes along people to help them make decisions that I've seen somebody make this type of decision before. Here's how we weigh out the pros and cons, and here's how we're going to move forward. Absolutely.
That sounds good. Well, if you are listening and you want to get that conversation, that relationship started, now is the time. We've got a number of ways you can set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. First, give us a call at 320-222-4236. Or you can request a meeting online at taatjesfinancial.com, or you can stop by our office. Again, we're located on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer. Office hours, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. I'm Jared Sebesta, joining you in this episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.
securities offered through Avantax Investment Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Avantax Advisory Services. Insurance services offered through an Avantax affiliated insurance agency.